Yo guys, Sniper in here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be looking back at the last two GTA Online DLCs, the Drug Wars and the San Andreas Mercenaries DLCs, and how they kind of failed and what happened to GTA Online since then. So we've had some months since the Drug Wars, and we've had about a month since, almost 2 months since the San Andreas Mercenaries, and let's see how they both kind of failed. So without further ado, let's just get straight into this video. Alright, so first we're going to be talking about the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC that was released in 2022, late December obviously, late 2022 in December. And here's the Acid Lab. It's a great business. Invest in it. I've talked about it in previous videos, so go check all my previous videos, especially about like my businesses ones. I've probably talked about the Acid Lab a few times. I'm not going to really go into further detail. It's a great business. But the story that, again, is a repetitive story. It gave us characters like Dax, who's annoying, like this.
Show me your butthole, fella!
And this.
Whoa! This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my fucking life! Bananganag!
So you see that. That wasn't, the second clip wasn't all Dax, but he was part of it. He's cringe. He's cringy as fuck, and the rest of his gang, if you wouldn't even call it a gang, I don't even know what the hell you call it, a crew. I'm gonna call it the crew, okay? They're just a bunch of nobodies. Alright, they're not menacing at all. They just have tattoos, okay? That's all they have, tattoos. They're so cringe. If you want to sell, like, drugs and you actually want to make it notable, don't make cringy characters like Dax, okay? Bad character writing, horrible character writing, honestly one of the worst character writing in all of DLCs that GTA Online has ever released. Like, fuck. The story is mid. Dr. Friedlander escapes, so keeping Friedlander alive is canon, clearly, because he appears in this DLC. It's mid. He escapes, spoilers, but you probably didn't need that, because why are you watching my video? If you're not a GTA Online player, and probably every GTA Online player has played this, I'll be honest, the first week that the first part of the first DOS missions, they were actually pretty good. Like, I'm not saying the missions were pretty good. I'm saying the pay. I mean, the pay was actually pretty good. Like, starters who start now, so easy to make money. Do these missions. They will pay you so much money, like 100,000 and more for just completing them on your first go. You'll get over $1 million after you're done with the whole story. I think it's like 9 or 11 missions. It's something like that. But it's definitely worth trying and doing because they're not like difficult missions. So when this DLC was being announced, Rockstar promised, and they said in their quote, that they were going to give us this massive 2-part story expansion. Not like in the story mode, but they gave us like this story. Okay, it was bad. Okay, so you didn't get really any cutscenes. You got some cutscenes, but again, cringy and did not matter. Anyways, like, what was the honest story? Honestly, like, what were you trying to do? And they used that word massive. They like to use that word massive a lot. But really, the story, outside of the story and the business, nothing else was really massive. They released some mid-vehicles and the 50-car garage. Okay? The 50-car garage is okay. It's too expensive. What it really is just 5-10-car garages stacked on top of each other in one. So really, what's the point? Like, there's so much businesses now that hold cars, like the agency, the facility that holds a lot of vehicles. The office, the CEO offices do, but again, you gotta buy garages, but they can. The auto shop, and I can keep going and going and going. Okay, there's a lot of businesses, but looking back at this DLC, it's kind of mid. I'll be honest, it's not like terrible. There's worse DLCs. But you can tell Rockstar just forced this. They didn't really give us anything massive. Like, the Acid Lab is a good business. Like, I'm selling it in the background here. Like, I heavily recommend that you invest in it. The vehicles that were added were kind of mid, okay? Like, nothing special with them. Even, like, the supercars or in quotes, supercars, weren't even that great, okay? Like, I heard cars from 2013 in the base game are faster than the cars they released in this, which is kind of sad and depressing. But this is supposed to be like a Breaking Bad themed update, okay? You could tell. Because you have the acid lab, kind of like Walter White's RV. You're cooking acid, or I don't know, brewing acid. Oh, sorry guys, mic cut out there. But as I was saying, you brew acid in a van, kind of similar to Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, how they cook crystal meth in an RV out in the desert. Okay, so I think there could have been more that they could have done with this Breaking Bad theme. They kind of only did that. Like, they only focus on, like, the cooking in an RV and doing all that, a mobile van, and that's it. They could have honestly done more Breaking Bad type stuff, like Walter White's cars. Since the cars are so mid this DLC, they could have added Walter White's cars. That would have been cool. But that's it for the kind of Breaking Bad kind of thing. I'm going to talk into, because this DLC had a lot of drip feed, I'm going to kind of get into a little bit of all of them. So some drip feed that we got with this update was the taxi missions. The downtown Cabco business, officially, we just had to buy a taxi for like a few $100,000. And we basically could do what we do in free mode if you're Franklin and you bought the downtown Cabco, and do taxi missions. Rockstar really thought that they hit the jackpot with this one, clearly, because the missions, like, once in a while, like, I might do them if I'm, like, extremely bored. But the average player does not do them. Maybe they tried it out for the first few times and they're like, okay, I'm getting crappy ass pay. I'm making like a few $100, which is pennies in GTA Online, guys. So in real life, if you're making hundreds of bucks from one taxi job, fair. That's good. Keep doing it. But not everyone in this game, it doesn't mean anything, okay? So they didn't really hit gold with that either. Just gonna say, we actually got some decent additions in drip feed with stash houses and street dealers. I'm gonna end off the drug wars and I'm gonna get on to the next one. Next, the GTA Online's most recent DLC, the San Andreas Mercenaries DLC. This has a lot of negative reviews on it. Honestly, people do not like this DLC, and I'm kind of one of them. I'm not like the biggest fan. This doesn't really feel like a DLC to me. So the Avenger came out with the Doomsday heist back in, I think, 2017. Okay, but you got something added onto it for like almost $2 million. You get to buy this operations terminal, and you get access to these LSA operations missions and like, well, I'm actually going to see right here. Project Overthrow and LSA operations. Yeah, I was right. So the LSA operations are basically like security contracts in the contract DLC. Okay, you basically do these missions and you get paid based on difficulty. Project Overthrow is, you have, I think, 6 story missions, generic story missions. Yeah, kind of nothing, right? And again, generic story missions with no cutscenes. Doesn't really feel like a story. Like Rockstar knows how to make a good story game, but in online they have no effort. Like that, this better mean the GTA 6 better be real fucking good, because if they're not putting any effort into this, then all the effort should be going into GTA 6. Okay? But they're a $1 billion company. This should not even be happening. But who cares, okay? Yeah, so the missions are pretty generic, okay? You basically have to overthrow Merryweather, okay? You're trying to stop any bit of Merryweather. You kind of finish them off in the final mission. It's kind of like, the missions aren't terrible. Like, there's worse missions out there, but they don't pay good at all, so no one's really going to be doing them again. And honestly, I feel like I wasted my time and my money with this, because it was almost $2 million for an operations terminal. And if you didn't have an Avenger, it cost you an additional Avenger price, which is almost $4 million. Which sucks, okay? So you're probably spending $5 million to do this DLC if you didn't have both, and you're not getting that money back, okay? Because you're not doing the Project Overthrow a second time, and you're sure as shit not doing LSA operations again. Do the security contracts, man. Do the contract. Do anything from the contract, because the contract DLC, I think, is the last DLC where Rockstar was like, okay, we give a shit. Now they don't, clearly, because these last 2 DLCs kind of stunk. And also, there was a whole lot more shit with the this DLC more. All right, so I've mentioned this before in my GTA Online rant. Okay, so I actually hit gold with that. It has over 1,000 views. So if you wanna go check it out too. But they released, and not like released, like dropped new vehicles. I think they did though. I don't really care because they're mid. But they got rid of over 100 cars from websites because they wanted to filter the websites more easier so that you could see the cars, the more popular vehicles, I guess. Yeah, so they removed like the least popular vehicles, and you can no longer buy them. Okay, you can no longer buy them. But get this, because GTA Plus is a thing, which is another video I made a rant on to the GTA Plus problem. They released, this is so scummy, I can't even believe this. They released, I can't remember what the name of it is. I think it's like the LS Car Meet or something like that. I don't know what it is. But it's, I think in Elysian Island by the airport. They have those cars that they took out of the game. They put it into that car meet. And then you could buy the cars again. But to get GTA Plus, it's a subscription. So you have to pay real money to get access to these cars and buy them. Which is so stupid. Because again, they're locking so much DLC content behind a subscription. That shouldn't be in this game. Why is a subscription in a video game? I don't know. I get if there's a subscription on a console like Xbox Game Pass or PS Plus. But not in an individual game. How much games have you seen this? A subscription. I can't think of one. Rockstar and GTA is the only one where I can think of it. Alright, so right here is the average players on GTA Online in the month of July 2023. Okay, because it's our most recent month. August has just started, so we're just calculating it now. 116,997.7 players, and its peak in that month was 181, okay? Which, GTA seen better days. It's not like dead, but it's certainly dying. Because if you see here, its most popular month ever was April 2015 with 361 almost. Which is big, because that's when PC hit. I mean, maybe, well, this came out literally like a few months ago. April, almost. So you could just see how much GTA has fallen off because they put less and less time into it. They don't really care about the product anymore because it's a 10-year-old game almost in October. So do you know why they abandoned Red Dead Online? Not me. Anyways, guys, the final review on both of them, like Drug Wars probably gets like 5 for me. Like some of it was good, honestly. Like they got like some decent shit, but like a lot of it was kind of like there's some bad. San Andreas Mercenaries probably 2 or 3. Pretty lame, honestly. But yeah, honestly, we're gonna see DLCs like the San Andreas Mercenaries more and more now because GTA 6 is coming up. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be the end of the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't. Peace.